trying to hold me back, but I'm ready to go. I ain't even sweating these fools, it's the only thing that they know. You know, entrepreneurs, you only do what you're told. That's how I know you ain't talking to me when you say no.
What's up, guys? I'm Skullz, and today we're going to be checking out Culling Voices by Tool. So we're just coming off of Descending. Clearly, without a doubt, best song on the album so far. It's insane from start to finish. And it's one of those songs where, I mean, I loved it the first time. I listened to it about 2 more times, and the emotional depth of it, I just keep getting more and more out of it. And I really feel like the emotion comes primarily from Adam. His guitar work in that is just unbelievable to me. It's one of his best songs, flat out. And then with Danny and Justin on the bottom end being that driving force of like fighting to stay alive, it just feels fully realized and so human. And I love that about that song. Also, there was a part in Descending around the 9-minute 30-second mark, I believe it was, where the song sounds a lot like The Grudge. And I'm wondering if that was him kind of digging deep into himself and pulling out the anger within him to utilize it for the battle. And it wasn't just the guitar riff that sounded like The Grudge. There were also synths playing around it, very similar to that song. And I don't mean that in some sort of derivative way. I mean that more like they took a motif from their previous work and they added it to this song. And I think that's amazing. They've also done that throughout their work too, which I really like. I like that they build upon their previous works. I think that adds more weight to their discography overall. I'm definitely starting to understand the theme of this, or at least I think I am. The album really feels like this is a building yourself up for a battle. And I even get the vibe that the odds are stacked against the narrator. It's almost like it's a losing battle, but it's still a battle worth fighting for. And I really feel like that captures the human spirit in an important way. That we're resilient and we can go down with honor, even in the face of certain death, perhaps. I mean, we're all gonna die, but in this, they're taking an extreme path where it feels like literally like a warrior going to war. But even with that backdrop, I feel like it's so applicable to just anyone in any situation. We're all fighting to stay alive, and we're all fighting even in the face of overwhelming situations and circumstances. So with that said, if any of you guys are struggling out there, know that you're stronger than you know. You will get through it and you will be stronger on the other side. But anyways, if you're new here, consider hitting the like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell. Helps the channel grow, helps the video reach more people, and I appreciate it a lot. Let's hop into Culling Voices. Oh.
Disembodied voices deep in mine, suspicious tendencies, conversation we've never had, imagined interplay, psychedelic soul, yet guided by them all. Everything gone. Psychopathy misleading me over and over and over.
This album has a much more empathetic tone about it than their previous works. I'm not saying that their other albums weren't empathetic, but the tonality of this album is just more empathetic. It's softer, more gentle, more intricate, and almost more fluid overall. And Maynard's delivering another very soft, mystical kind of vocal. I'm also noticing 3 minutes into the song and there's still no Danny. That's new. Danny's usually right into it. But I do appreciate the quiet moment after this big, almost battle sequence that Descending was. And I was really surprised to hear that synth-like sound at the beginning. It was really different from pretty much anything else I've heard from Tool. But it didn't feel awkward, it didn't feel forced, it fit right in. And I like how it created this vibe of unease, but then it washed away and then went into this nice meditative state. This feels like the aftermath of something big. And I'm also getting a little bit of Godspeed You Black Emperor vibes from this. Never thought I would relate them to them, but I definitely hear it a bit in the tone of the guitar, in the soundscape. And I think that's mostly why I'm getting that. There's definitely more soundscapes in this album.
Judge, condemn, and banish any and everyone without evidence. Only the whispers from within. Psychopathy misleading me over and over. Psychopathy misleading me over and over and over.
Interesting sound there. Oh. This one definitely creeped in very subtly. Definitely something I noticed in that middle section when the voice was panning from the left and right. This made it feel very warped, and it made it feel very introspective. It seems to me like something was speaking from within him, which would make sense because I'm getting the vibe that this is a very reflective song. But there was also a part where like it just came in with this nice like bop to it. And Justin, the way his bass just hit after all that time, and Danny, I mean, like there was just an absence of a rhythm section. And then when it finally came in, it was so rhythmic. I love that. It was a nice payoff to the very quiet first half. But that bass sound was so nasty. But all right, let's hop into the lyrics. Disembodied voices deepen my suspicious tendencies. Conversations we've had, imagined interplay. Okay, so this person clearly sounds way too in their head. Perhaps they're making up scenarios of about people. Maybe it's paranoia or something like that. And when he says disembodied voices, I'm thinking that could either mean like voices in his head, or it could be like voices of the dead. Like if he was a part of an army, his fallen comrades, the effects of their deaths could be strengthening that paranoia, because that's kind of what trauma does to you. You're always ready for that to like happen again, so you're very defensive about those things. But then the chorus, psychopathy, don't you dare point that at me. Yeah, so this is someone not in control of their emotions and very defensive, it seems. Then verse 2, heated altercations we've never had, so I'm told, yet guided by them all, every single one. Psychopathy, misleading me over and over and over. So this is a very self-aware track. This feels like it could be another ego death. Then verse 3, judge, condemn, and banish any and everyone without evidence, only the whispers from within. And then the chorus repeats. So this is really playing well into the theme of fear of this album. And when he says, don't you dare point that at me, that's him realizing psychopathy is coming for him, and he's fighting it off. He's like, don't you point that at me. I know what this is. I know your games, and I'm not falling into them. Sometimes if you let your imagination just go and go, it can really lead you to some creatively fucked up places. And you know what? Maybe you went through some stuff that justify that emotion, that defensiveness, but it doesn't make it real, and it doesn't mean it's going to happen. As hard as it can be, pushing your trauma onto other people just isn't the way to go. It can be hard not to do it, I get it, but that's where you need to seek help. And it's okay to need help. We all need help at one point or another. I've needed help before. I've gone to therapy before. It's okay to ask for help. Not only is it okay, you owe it to yourself, because you don't have to live like that. Life can be better. Your quality of life can be better. Again, I'll say it, anyone going through it right now, I'm thinking about you. You're in my thoughts. I'm sending you positive energy. I love you. Let's get back into this. Oh man. That was Culling Voices. This song feels more like a contextual song within the album. What I really appreciated about this one is the ambience they created. This felt like someone dealing with some sort of paranoia and condemning people for things that never happened. I mean, it's totally relatable. I mean, people do that every day. But it doesn't make it right. It doesn't make us right when we do it. Yeah, it's just a problem to work through. I'm not going to read the remaining lyrics because it's mostly just, don't you dare point that at me. Well, I guess I just did read it. Another thing I do like about this feels like wisdom gained from the battle. This is where that paranoia and getting inside your own head and overthinking things gets you. It brings you death, tragedy, and just all sorts of grief. And it's important to let that go so you don't create any more tragedy or grief or anything like that than life is going to eventually and inevitably deal to you. But it does feel a lot like Descending in its structure. And that's actually something I'm noticing about this album overall, is a lot of these songs are similarly structured in terms of like Maynard carrying the first half of the song and he sort of pulls back for the remainder of it and lets the band do their thing. And all of them seem to start off slower and grow as it goes on. And for me, that's creating a little bit of repetition. Especially with how long these songs are, you really have to invest yourself and immerse yourself. I do think this album is a harder first listen than their other albums. The songs are longer, sometimes more challenging. I think this album is really just more interested in immersing you in the entirety of it. But yeah, this was a really nice sort of meditation. Well, at least until the drums and everything came in. But I really enjoyed it. I appreciate where it is on the album too. I feel like this was a perfect place for that song in the context of the album. But yeah, guys, if I missed anything, just let me know. I'm probably gonna end the video there. Like I said at the beginning, like I always say, if you're new here, consider hitting the like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell. Helps the channel grow, helps the video reach more people, and I appreciate it a lot. And wherever you are, I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're having a good night. And as always, I look forward to the next one. Peace.